All right, everybody, welcome. Step number 4. Are you ready? It's the E, erratic hormones. Oh my word, we get to talk about hormones today. Aren't we just super excited? You know what? I'm a woman. I understand what it's like to have erratic hormones, but I want to talk today specifically about how hormones affect diabetes. But also, in my first book, I Refuse Chemo, I talk a lot about hormones in there and how hormones, when they're imbalanced or when they are off, can actually cause imbalance in your system, make you feel like crap. And also, depending on the hormones that are off, they can be precursors or they can actually help grow cancer. So, yeah. So, just so that you guys understand where I'm coming from and just so you understand the passion and the power of this book for you is, this book was number 1 in 4 categories in Amazon. So if you have not read it yet, I would strongly encourage you to read it as you're going through these video tutorials, because I'm actually going through each chapter with you in a video form, but they're explained in the book. But I was very proud of this because I want the word to get out. I want to help people who have uh, pre-diabetes and insulin resistance. And it's just really fun to be able to have my books in bookstores too. So my book, I Refuse Chemo, my first book, which I do go in detail about similar things that you're going to be learning in the 7-day video series. But I talk a lot about hormones in that book also, and that book is available at Barnes and Noble. So I would strongly encourage you to pick that up just if you need some encouragement. And sometimes you need happy endings to stories instead of all despair. And this book, it's my journey, right? And it is traumatic, but it has a happy ending, which I love to share with all of you. So it's story time. So today we're talking about erratic hormones. And again, it's step 4, the E. And I want to give you a story of a client of mine to protect her privacy. I named her Becky in my book, but her name is Becky. And she came to me super frustrated because um, the backstory of Becky is that she had been trying to get pregnant for a long time. She just recently got married, and they decided to go off of birth control to get pregnant, and then they couldn't get pregnant. And in the process of trying to get pregnant, they hired some fertility specialists, and she ended up getting pregnant, but then she had a miscarriage, and they kept trying and trying, and nothing was working. So she got frustrated, gained 35 pounds on birth control and all the fertility drugs over the course of the years that she was trying. So she finally came to me and decided that they were going to use lifestyle and nutrition as a part of one. She wanted to lose weight. That was her main reason. But I think in the back of her mind, she had heard of me through a couple of people who had a similar situation than her. And she was hoping that just cleaning up her nutrition might help with her getting pregnant. But again, that wasn't her focal point at the time. She had prediabetes due to all the fertility she was on, and also due to her gaining weight. So she came to me just with the expectation that she wasn't going to try to get pregnant. She just wanted to lose some body fat. Well, of course, I am not a fertility specialist. I'm not a doctor. I can't ever promise or guarantee anybody's going to get pregnant if they're been trying. Okay, so I didn't promise her that, of course not. But what I did tell her is that, you know what, Becky, I have seen too many times over and over again of my clients who come to me who just are unable to get pregnant, can't get pregnant, or are frustrated or whatever, and then they do the lifestyle program that I teach them, and they end up getting pregnant. It happens so almost every single time somebody comes to me and is having a hard time getting pregnant, they end up getting pregnant after they do a series of weeks with the program. And the reason is, and I truly believe this, is I believe that we already talked about inflammation, but I believe my program strongly, I know it does, it reduces inflammation, which inflammation is a big cause of why women can't get pregnant due to their hormones being off. So when you have inflammation, your hormones go off and they're out of balance, which is causing estrogen, progesterone, and you're stressed out. That's causing your hormones to be out of balance. And when your hormones are out of balance, what happens? You can't get pregnant, okay? So again, am I making claims? Absolutely not. I'm just saying that Becky came to me with unable to get pregnant and prediabetes, and she wanted to lose weight, which obviously that was pretty easy to do. We did get her to lose weight. But again, this is why this program works so well, is because when you go to your medical doctor and whatever the diagnosis is, whether it's infertility, whether it is diabetes, whether it's cancer, whether it's obesity, whatever your diagnosis is, in addition to what they prescribe, which is medications, fertility drugs, insulin, whatever it is, whatever your situation is. If you have a heartburn, you get heartburn medication, whatever it is. You also, in addition to their treatment, you always, 100% of the time, should always consider a lifestyle approach, a lifestyle part of the prescription, which includes this side, which is the nutrition, the exercise, the support, certain supplements, and the coaching that involves this side of the chart, because this side of the chart is usually what is lifestyle long term, and this takes longer than what this does for your doctor to manage this. They don't have time to help you with this. This is why I created the Diabetes Lifestyle Coaching Academy, also the Weight Loss Lifestyle Coaching Academy, which I haven't talked to you guys much about because this is strictly, we're talking about pre-diabetes and insulin resistance and type 2. But I also, the two are very related, you guys. They're very related. And, a lot of times my clients who come to me for diabetes also are overweight, or if they're overweight, they don't even realize they have diabetes. So today we are talking about erratic hormones and the connection between your hormones and your blood sugar. This is a very, very, very overlooked part of the process. Like I said, most people or clients that I get that come to me who are overweight, they are pre-diabetic. And if you're pre-diabetic or you have type 2 or you're insulin resistant, a lot of times you have weight issues. So the two go hand in hand, which is why my area of expertise, you guys, is right here. I really am good with the lifestyle coaching for diabetes and also weight loss management. So that is my area of expertise, which is why I created this Wise Woman process, which is to help smart, dedicated women like you who are pre and type 2 with your lifestyle so that you can regain your health, lose weight, and reduce your need for medication. So the E, erratic hormones, let's get started. This is such an overlooked area in women's health for sure, because when you go to your doctor and you get a diagnosis of diabetes, they treat you for the diabetes. But what you must understand is there's many, many hormones that are affected. And I know it's frustrating because when you go to your doctor, the chances of them telling you, about even talking about hormones is it's nil. I mean, I have a lot of my clients who come to me who have been to their doctors, and their doctors just don't talk to them about hormones. Why? Because again, they just have to treat you with medication. So just like the personal story I shared with you at the, early on, if you have, like Becky, have so much stress in your life because you can't get pregnant, or you are, putting a lot of fertility drugs in your system, whatever it is, your hormones are going to be affected. Okay. The other thing that affects your hormones chemically is exotoxins. And the thing with exotoxins is that exotoxins in the form of GMOs and the air we breathe and things like that, also chemicals that we use in our homes, these are all what are called endocrine disruptors. And these endocrine disruptors do exactly what this slide says. They disrupt your endocrine system. And your endocrine system is a huge part of the process of your hormones and your reproductive ovaries and your reproductive system. And also it causes your estrogen to raise, which causes body fat gain, which causes other hormones to be off. And this is also causing inflammation. So it's all tied together. So here's the deal, you guys. When something is off in your car, let's say you're driving down the road, right? And your red engine light goes on. Do you guys go for months and months without figuring out what's wrong with your car? Of course you don't. Why do we as women, when we're not feeling well, when we're gaining weight, when we don't realize it, when we're, have aches and pains, or when we have headaches, or when we feel like there's something off in our bodies, why don't we figure it out and go get it checked? Right? Because we think that because of age or because of whatever, we're supposed to feel this way. And number two is because when you do go to your doctor, they're going to treat you for one specific thing. They don't really want to, talk about hormones because that's just not what they're really good at. Okay. It just is what it is. So you want to have really good information on what kinds of products, what kinds of things and nutrition, all this stuff that is causing your hormones to be off. There's a great website. I want to give this to you right now, called ewg.org. This is an amazing website that basically what it does is if you go there and you type in a particular product, right? A particular product that you guys might be using in your household. Maybe it's a specific cleanser. Maybe it's a lotion. Maybe it's the type of toilet bowl cleaner that you use, or the type of showering gel, or the type of, hairspray or hair products. You can type it in to this on this website. There's a search box. You can type it in, and it's going to actually list to you all the exotoxins, the chemicals, and rate it on a scale of what is considered extremely toxic for you. So you'll be able to know. Okay, so it's an amazing website for a bunch of information. I would strongly suggest that you guys check that out. Okay, so here's the deal, you guys. If you guys are tired all the time, if you have cravings, if you have fatigue, if you've been diagnosed with prediabetes or insulin resistance or type 2, your hormones are off 100%. They're off. You would feel amazing. You wouldn't have cravings. You wouldn't have fatigue. You wouldn't have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes if your hormones weren't off. Okay, so I want to talk next about the specific hormones that your doctor just is not talking to you about. And this is not about ripping on the doctor. It's not about that. It's about the chart I showed you earlier. It's about this. It's their time. They have an obligation to be able to show you guys what medications are good to treat whatever ailment that you're on. They don't have the time to give you lifestyle coaching. They don't have the time to really educate you about nutrition. I've told you this a million times, but I have doctor friends, I have PA friends, I have RNs, I have all these different friends that come to my program to learn about nutrition because they don't get nutrition, schooling. They don't get medical nutrition in school. In 8 years of med school, they don't get it. They don't get it. So how can they help you with it if they don't even understand it? They don't know about it. So this is why a lot of times doctors will tell you to see a nutritionist like myself. So that's why I'm here to help you with that. And that's the reason. Okay, so what I want to do is I really want to talk to you about the 4 main hormones. Now, these 4, there's many, okay? There's many hormones that are a part of our endocrine system, but the 4 main hormones that are directly related to your diabetes are these: insulin, leptin, ghrelin, and cortisol. These are the 4, and you've probably heard your doctor talk about insulin if you have prediabetes or type 2 or even type 1. Okay, but do they talk to you about leptin and ghrelin and cortisol? Probably not. In fact, do they even tell you really what insulin does and how it works? Probably not. So that's what I want to do today, is I want to give you a little overview of each of these 4, because these are the 4 that are going to have to be balanced, and they're going to have to be corrected in order for you guys to feel better, get your balance and your hormones in balance, that also potentially get you off of medication. So in the first video I sent you guys, we went into detail about what insulin does. Insulin actually takes the blood sugar that you have in your blood that's overwhelmed in your blood, and it pushes it into the cells to give you your energy. Okay, and if your cells are full, it stores fat. So insulin's job is always to store. So I would strongly encourage you that if you don't remember me talking about what diabetes is and exactly what insulin does, go back to the first video that I sent you, or it might have been the second video, which is the W in what is diabetes, and go specifically over what insulin does. So again, insulin is always going to store fat. So if you have issues with losing body fat, it's because you have too much insulin in your system. If you have prediabetes or diabetes, you have too much insulin in your system. Okay, so again, insulin is responsible to push the sugar. This is sugar. Glucose is also sugar. Is responsible to push the sugar into the cell. But if these cells are blocked or they're not working right, then the sugar stays in the blood, and then you release more insulin. And insulin, the more insulin you have in your system, the more you're going to be storing fat. So again, when that hormone is off, you're never going to be feeling good. You are going to have cravings. You are going to have be storing fat. And the other thing is your fat cells are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so we need our insulin to be low. And in the Weight Loss Coaching Academy and in the Diabetes Lifestyle Coaching Academy, this is what I teach you. We will work really aggressively hard to get you to a point where your insulin is low, because once your insulin is low, then that's the first step in how we can manage your hunger, your cravings, and your weight gain and your weight loss, okay, and also your overeating. So the thing is when your insulin is low, you're going to be less tempted for all these bad foods, okay, and things are just going to start to get better with the other 3 hormones. And the other 3 are, here we go, leptin. So leptin, what I want to talk about next, is a hormone in your body that tells you when you are done, when you're feeling satisfied, when your body is saying, you know what, I've had enough food. Okay, so leptin is actually made in our fat cells, and its job is to tell you when you've had enough to eat. So when your leptin is at the right level, you will feel satisfied. So we want your leptin to be in check. We don't want the stuffed feeling, but we want a very content feeling. But here is the deal, you guys. When your insulin is high, which all of you who are watching this, your insulin is probably elevated. Okay, if you're overweight, prediabetes, type 2, type 1, your insulin is elevated. When your insulin is elevated, what happens? I'm going to tell you right now. It blocks the leptin message. Okay? So too much insulin blocks that signaling process, which is why you might be feeling hungry all the time. So that signaling for hunger is being totally messed up with higher insulin, which is another reason why we want insulin to be low. The next hormone we're going to talk about is ghrelin. And ghrelin, you guys, is the appetite increasing hormone. So it's a hormone that is produced in your gut. Okay, think of it this way. Think of like grrr. It's that when your stomach is growling, when you feel like you're hungry, that is what ghrelin is done, and is activated when we eat. So when you're eating all of the time, the ghrelin surges and tells us we're hungry when we shouldn't be. Okay, so again, if you're always hungry, then that's going to be a problem, because your ghrelin is high before you eat and low after you eat. That's how it's supposed to be, okay? So the reasons why I'm not a fan of like liquid diets and these high sugar diets is because it spikes your insulin, which we know that blocks the leptin, I just told you, right? And it also is causing your ghrelin to keep you hungry, okay? So again, you want to make sure that we keep our ghrelin very low. All right. So the last one I want to talk about is, I know this is pretty eye-opening, isn't it? Are you guys like, okay, why don't I know this stuff? Well, this is why. This is why I'm telling you now, so that you understand that there's more than just, treating your type 2 and your prediabetes and your weight with drugs. There's so much more to it. You've got to balance all of these, this should be very eye-opening and exciting for you, actually. So, all right, the last one we're going to talk about is cortisol. So cortisol is the main hormone that is also related to blood sugar management and diabetes, because cortisol is produced in our adrenal glands. This is our stress hormone. So if you're stressed out all the time, right? If you're a moms, I understand how stressed you are. You're managing your kids and you're busy. If you're working part-time or full-time, plus you're trying to be a mom, I get it. You're stressed out. Your cortisol is being elevated when you're stressed. If you are worried all the time, if you have anxiety, if you're sad, you are releasing cortisol. And cortisol is directly related to increasing your hunger. Okay, so cortisol is increasing your hunger. The other thing cortisol is doing, you guys, is actually purposely, when you have cortisol in your body and you're stressed out and it's elevated, then what's happening is your liver is actually producing more sugar as a protection from your stress. Okay, there's a lot of, there's some chemical things that could be I could explain here, but I don't want to get too detailed. Bottom line is, if you're stressed out, you're releasing cortisol, which is releasing blood sugar. And then what happens when your blood sugar is high, right? You release insulin. And we already know that insulin is always, always, always going to be storing fat. Okay. So can you see why this is not your fault? You guys, this is not your fault. You have to learn about this stuff. And this is why I'm so passionate about helping you with this, because I want to help you find these balance and these hormones. And nobody's going to really be able to teach you this unless you take control of your health and you decide to do this yourself with my help. And it is possible. Just like with Becky, she came in here overweight, pre-diabetic, unable to get pregnant. Left here, lost weight, no more pre-diabetic, and she got pregnant. I remember the day she walked into my office and told me she was pregnant. We both cried. I knew it was going to happen. I just knew when she came to me and she started working with me, I knew she would get pregnant just because I had seen it so many times. Because plus we worked on her stress level, you guys. Moms out there, you ladies, I'm a lady, I understand. Stress is going to cause disease. Stress is what caused my cancer. My hormones were wackadoo because of my stress. And it wasn't, for me, it wasn't my eating. I was eating actually really good. So there's a part of me that understands what you're going through when it comes to all of this imbalance. Trust me, I've been there, right? So it's possible. I care about you. I want you guys to have more balance in your life, no more imbalance. And, I just got to share something with you. I want to introduce you to my little Pomeranian Gus. Oh, my little Pomeranian Gus he's just so amazing. He helps me so much with my stress. There's nothing like the greeting of a dog. Or if you guys have a cat, I don't know if you guys have cats or any of you have animals, but yeah, I just had to throw that in there because I wanted you guys to meet my little Pomeranian. His name is Gus, and he's just, he's amazing. So again, just to recap, you guys, I want to help you with this side of your prescription that your doctor gave you. He's going to prescribe you this. Let me help you, okay? So with that being said, I look forward to talking tomorrow with you about our next step in the Wise Woman process, which is winning supplements. So again, if you guys can't wait, you want to get started right away, schedule a call with me. Go to callwithterry.com. I'd be more than willing to do a consultation with you. Otherwise, if you want to download my books, you can go to my website, terrydell.com. Otherwise, you know what? Stay tuned for tomorrow because we're going to talk about my second favorite topic, supplements. See you then. Bye.